PSA maintains 90% buyback offers.
Yep.
And they start monopolizing more and more of that flow. Local shows where you source, where a lot of Whatnot people source, where people like us make our living, they will cease to exist.
You either need, in business, you need to adapt or you're going to die. And that goes, I think we've seen that throughout the history of the hobby, that things are constantly changing and it forces you to adapt. Right now, I'm being actively hurt by it. I recognize it, but I'm having to adapt the way that I run my business in order to do that. But I recognize there's a world in which I'm wrong, and that's where the fear comes from, is if they start to lower these things and if they start to monopolize this even more, that 5% now becomes 10% or 15%, and it can snowball, and I will concede that is possible.
Yeah, it's when you look at what that snowball looks like, I think that's where people like Jason and I really get nervous, because I think we all can recognize that the entire ecosystem of this hobby is reliant on every part of it.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have grading companies, then there's not really a way to really move card values. Like, that's just reality. And if you don't have a lot of people, you've made the comment that, dealers freaked out when repackers came onto the scene. Didn't bother us too much because we don't tend to source by walking shows. We source from our side of the table when people walk up to the table. But at the end of the day, we all rely on each other. If PSA maintains 90% buyback offers, and they start monopolizing more and more of that flow, local shows where you source, where a lot of Whatnot people source, where people like us make our living, they will cease to exist, because you can't make a living. You can't run a small business. You can run Amazon, you can run IBM, you can run PSA, although they're nowhere near this. You can't exist on 5% margins.